You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
What's up, North Georgia? Thank you for being with us right here on another edition of the show. It's Winging It Wednesday right here from inside our Cherokee studios. Dave Garner with you till the 11 o'clock hour before Chuck Oliver comes on with Southern Sports Today. Appreciate you guys being with us right here. Again, the Sports Pig on the app and the stream at sportspigradio.com. And we are chopping it up this Winging It Wednesday presented by our friends at Geiger Legal Group. And joining us right here today in studio, the man himself, we have Casey Geiger from Geiger Legal joining us, man. We're going to be chopping up sports over the next hour or so. Appreciate you being here, man.
Hey, man. Happy to be here.
There we go. Fun. Absolutely. You know, you've probably, if you guys have listened to our sister station over the last 6 months or so, you've probably heard Casey on there, of course, Jamie, Chris Brown, all the guys from Geiger Legal. They're always a lot of fun. And you actually started today over down the hall at her sister station telling some lawyer jokes.
That was the plan. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they landed with the audience. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure they landed just fine there. We will tell a couple right here today, though, too.
Put me on the spot. All right.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You know, this show is, as we talk about, it's 80% sports, but then it's like 10% food, right? 10% food and then 10% music and entertainment.
Love it.
And so I think some good dad/lawyer humor would fall into the entertainment category.
Love it.
So we can definitely do some of that. We're going to talk about NFL free agency over this next hour. Again, a lot of teams making moves. Of course, the Atlanta Falcons certainly a little closer to home, doing a lot of different things over the last couple of days. Team USA falling last night to Italy. Man, that was kind of unexpected.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, how does that happen? You know, Casey, we were looking down the lineup, and by the way, you come in here, you look like you just stepped out of a magazine. I look like Barney Rubble sitting over here in this host seat next to you, but all fit and trim. But seriously, no, how do we lose to Italy? I was looking down the Italy lineup, and we're going to talk about this later in the show as well. But just about every player on their roster is American born. I mean, they were born in the U.S. So there's one player, I think, from Canada. There's one player maybe born in Venezuela. But for the most part,
they all played with Italy for some reason.
Yeah, they all play for Italy. So I guess depending on your genealogy or wherever, you can claim.
I guess. Maybe that's like the Olympic rules. You can go back and figure out if there's some sort of heritage you can play for.
Yeah, like I could go back and play for Ireland, I guess, technically, because I'm Irish. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. So, again, nonetheless, though, we're trying to talk ourselves off the ledge because the Team USA was undefeated in pool play, and it looked like they were just going to cruise right into the quarterfinals, semifinals or what have you. But maybe not so much the case, and we'll talk about possible confusion with the bracket.
Yeah. Well, I think that it came out later. The coach maybe not fully understood that. They did not. They had the rules, right? That he hadn't already punched his ticket to the quarterfinals, and he came out and gave that interview and said, "Well, it's all right. We're still going to go to the quarterfinals." And everybody's like, "Hey, hold on a second. You're actually not guaranteed that."
Yeah, not guaranteed that, like they thought they were. So again, now all of a sudden, you've kind of taken your own destiny out of your hands, and you're having to rely on some tiebreakers and things like that. We're going to talk more about that later in the show. Also going to touch on high school basketball. Again, a big week for the state championship starts today, actually, down in Macon. They'll go from Wednesday today through the weekend through Saturday into the evening. And so, again, all 6 classes, girls and boys and private school classifications as well, taking part in the state championships this week down in Macon. We will have some broadcast news for you coming up a little bit later on as well. Also going to talk some March Madness. Of course, conference tourneys already underway for some of the smaller conferences, but I know the ACC tournament got started yesterday. I think the SEC tournament starts starts today for basketball for men's hoops. The women have already been going at it. So again, a lot of things going on right now with college basketball. We talked about it on Monday. Damon Stoudemire, the head coach at Georgia Tech, being let go after the Jackets failed to even make the ACC tournament due to the brackets and the format this year. Just one NCAA tournament appearance since 2010. Not going to cut it for a traditionally strong Georgia Tech men's basketball program that just really hasn't been able to get anything going over the last few years. Again, we were talking about that earlier. And I know that speaking of March Madness, and we've been talking this up, Casey, all week long and even last week, you guys have a bracket challenge that you're doing, and so I'm glad you're here this morning. Now, Big John was supposed to be with us. He had some prior commitments. If you're wondering why John Davis is not here this morning, he had to be somewhere else, and so we definitely will welcome John back next week to the program. But tell us a little bit more about this bracket challenge here right off the top. We'll talk about it throughout the show, but give us the details.
Sure. So everybody loves playing March Madness, right? You try and pick out a bracket. You think you're going to get everything wrong, and then after the first round of 64, you usually have gotten most of them wrong, right? So we have a Geiger Legal Gives Back March Madness Challenge. Free to sign up.
Love it. Yeah.
Free to sign up. If you win, going off the scores off ESPN Bracket Challenge, if you get the highest score, you're going to get $1,000. So just go in, pick something, maybe get a chance to win $1,000. But more importantly, if you win, you get to pick a charity of your choice to give $10,000 to. So we give the money, you get to pick the charity, and it's not only that, you get $1,000 in your pocket. So
you gotta love it. I mean, I think it's one of those things that we've been talking about. Obviously, you guys have links on your social mediums and things like that to be able to register. So how do people? And what I've been telling people is like, look, no strings attached. Again, it's totally free to play. Guys like you and me are going to sign up, and we're going to give it our best shot. We're going to get involved in it, too, right here at the radio station. But how do people go on? What does that look like for folks that want to go on and join the challenge? Yeah, I was talking to your marketing Noelle person yesterday. She was saying y'all have already had 30, 40 people, maybe something like that, sign up, and we haven't even really technically gotten to Selection Sunday yet, right?
People,
so
once Selection Sunday hits, people are going to be like, oh, I need to fill out a bracket.
Right.
And that's when we really think things are going to really pop at that point. But easiest way, go ahead and sign up now, download the ESPN app, go ahead and get logged into the pool. So when you do get those picks, or when the basketball teams do get selected, you can go in, start filling out your bracket really quick, get a chance to win. Best way to find us, best way to find the sign-up link is just go to our socials probably.
I love it. And you guys are on. One thing that caught my attention about you guys early on was your social media and the fact that you guys are so active, because let's face it, when it comes to, when people think attorney, when people think law, you and I have talked about this, there is sometimes a negative connotation with that, right?
Sure.
And we'll hear that with some of your lawyer jokes that you told this morning over on our sister station, and people will probably get a good chuckle at that. But I think the reason that people do, feel the way they do, there is this negative connotation about attorneys. So what we're trying to do with you guys, obviously, is kind of humanize you guys to show the lighter side of what you guys do, even though it's very serious business there, and to show that maybe not all attorneys are bad, right?
I would hope so. Usually people go to attorneys when something bad has happened, right?
Right.
Traditionally, like you think of an attorney, I got to go through a divorce, right?
Yeah,
That's never a fun experience for anybody.
Right.
But with us, something bad has happened via an accident or something like that.
Yeah.
And we help them put their life back together. We have the slogan of "We tell your story." So we can tell your story to put your life back together. Hopefully, at the end of the day, you're really grateful for the experience you have with us.
Sure. And I know so far, man, you guys are making such a difference. I think the thing that impresses me, and like I was saying, your social media, between TikTok, between Instagram, your Facebook pages, if you haven't seen the promos that Casey and his team have done for the bracket challenge, you're missing out. So go to their social media.
I'm glad you got a kick
out. Check them out. I did, man.
We are very good at basketball. I'll say that.
So where do all these ideas come from? Is this stuff that you just kind of conjure up? All the stuff that you guys do on social media, or what?
I think it's just random stuff. Well, let's do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall the back when the Olympics were going on, the Canadian controversy over curling, where the guy pushed the curling thing with his finger and everything.
Yes.
So we had some fun with that. You know, just having a good time
with the contract across the desk.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of fun stuff right here. Chopping it up again with Casey Geiger of Geiger Legal Group right here. Of course, they're one of our sponsors. But the reason I really wanted to bring Casey in here was because I wanted to talk a little bit about your fandom. You know, I mean, the thing is, you're a big sports guy. You and I have kind of kidded around and poked each other a little bit, particularly on Facebook and stuff. You know, during the NFL playoffs, we had a lot of fun there.
It was a clear interception.
It was, yeah. Okay, well, that's up for debate. Maybe we'll debate that here as we move on. But no, you know, we have a lot of fun, and I've got a buddy of mine. His name's Wes Odell. He runs J&W Sports Apparel over in Chatsworth, and the one thing he always asks when you walk in the door is, "Hey, what kind of fan are you? You know, who are you a fan of?" So I'm going to ask you this morning, like he does, what kind of fan are you, Casey? I mean, who do you typically root for? I mean, what does your normal fandom look like?
Okay, so college football's got to be Georgia Bulldogs. No questions asked.
Okay, good.
No questions asked. And college basketball right now, you got to love the Georgia Bulldogs as well.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, like you said earlier, traditionally, Georgia Tech has been the better basketball team, but that script is flipped.
Yeah, not right now, especially in the current state. You're right about
exactly
that.
Right. So, yeah, I will cheer for Georgia basketball. I'll cheer for Georgia football. Now, NFL, different story. I am a Denver Broncos guy. I went to law school, University of Denver. Fell in love with the Broncos while you're out there. It's just a cool town for pro sports.
Right.
So, I still follow the Falcons, and we could probably talk about the Tua signing if you want. Which is
yes, we can.
I'm actually not too bad about it. I'm too mad about it. I think it's an okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting. I remember when the Broncos and the Falcons played in the Super Bowl. You know, was that '98?
Yes.
And I remember betting against a guy. I was in elementary school at the time. I remember betting like $1, which is big money for me as an elementary school kid, right?
Right.
That the Falcons would win against the Broncos. Of course, the Broncos destroyed them.
Oh, yeah. We all know what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the fact that I still have that memory and having to pay off that $1 was such a big deal.
And so you turned on the Falcons back then.
I turned on them.
And then you knew who you had to go with at that point. And you probably made the smart move, because there's a lot of people like me that didn't do that. And we have continued. You were talking about divorces earlier and things like that, why people need to come to attorneys. And, you know, being a Falcons fan is like being in a toxic relationship, right? You just can't, you know, as much as you try to distance yourself away from that organization, you know, they give you just enough hope that they suck you back in, and then boom, they let you down again.
They gave you a lot of hope when they signed Kirk Cousins, and you thought everything's going to be great. We got a quarterback. Then they drafted Penix, who's I don't know if that's going to be a good pick long term. But now they've got Tua. Cousins is out. It'd be interesting to see if Cousins goes up to Minnesota, retreats back to Minnesota, and
could potentially do that. Yeah, for sure. And you know, the thing about it is now you've got to, and we'll talk about this too later in the show. We got a lot of stuff to touch on here in this hour as we move right along here up against the end of our first segment. But you know, you got two left-handed quarterbacks now, similar styles, but both of them similarly injured. I think Tua's maybe a concussion away from, you know, his playing days being over, perhaps, and Michael Penix is maybe one more knee injury away from the same thing.
Michael Penix may try to get under center and tear his ACL again. It's
it's like me being an old man. You do that stuff getting out of the shower. I know, now, you know. And so
how did you get in the hospital? I stood up.
Exactly, and I have this shoulder pain now that won't go away. My sciatic nerve. But anyway, listen to me. I sound like an old man right here. We appreciate you guys being with us right here on the Morning Rant. Again, we are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, and we'll be back right here on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Grand Slam! 98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, the official home for the Atlanta Braves baseball.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the SportsPig app and SportsPigRadio.com.
And welcome back to the program. Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock this morning on a Winging It Wednesday. We appreciate our friends from Geiger Legal for being on board with us once again. Our very own Casey Geiger in studio with us live right here midweek, chopping it up, talking about NFL free agency, the World Baseball Classic, you name it, a little bit of everything. Casey, we were talking a little bit earlier in the week about the time change. And, the older I get, the more it seems to affect me. Like, I would think that, as you get older, you would adjust to it a little bit more. But it seems like it takes me a good week now to really get over it. I don't know. Does it have any effect on you whatsoever?
Oh, absolutely it does. And I think really where it affects me right now, I've got 2 younger kids. And so I wake up and then you can tell them they are just groggy getting out of bed. And you're like, hey, we got to get off to school. It's I just wish I'm a big proponent of just make daylight savings time permanent. Yeah. I would rather stay in this time personally than standard time.
I would too, and I know there's been they've kicked around some legislation, some different things to try to make it happen, but I don't know if it ever will or not.
It seems like oh, this is happening, and it never does. I don't get it.
Does. Is there something you can do about that, man?
I wish.
You got any inside track on that? Let's talk some NFL free agency. You and I were just looking, and looks like the Ravens. Now let's go back to the beginning of this timeline. Of course, Max Crosby, done deal. Leaving the
2
Raiders, They gave away picks. The Ravens again getting Max Crosby, and then all of a sudden hold everything. Yesterday, it comes across the wire that he failed his physical, and so the Ravens retracted the offer. And so Max Crosby no longer headed to Baltimore, and so now the Raiders are having to go back to square one because they've already spent money.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. However, it looks like now Trey Hendrickson, the big edge guy from the Bengals, of course, was looking for a home. There was a lot of stuff about how he was going to move around, where he was going to land. Well, apparently the Ravens now have signed him. So the whole Max Crosby deal's off the table, and now Trey Hendrickson's coming to Baltimore instead.
Which I guess is a good pickup for Baltimore, but I mean, there's so many trickle-down effects that have come from this blown deal with the Raiders. Because like you said, the Raiders signed people. They said, all right, he's off our books. We've cleared out the cap space. We understand what's going to look like. We've got picks to invest.
Yep.
And all of a sudden now they got him back, but he's going to get cut. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, that's the thing. I think the Raiders are kind of stuck in a situation they obviously don't want to be in right now. But at the same time, you've already loaded up. We talked about this yesterday. You've already gotten 3 Georgia guys on your defense for the Raiders. They got, of course, Nakobe Dean from Philly. Eric Stokes came over, and then also Quay Walker from the Packers headed to Las Vegas as well. So you have boosted your defense in the absence of Max Crosby, but now you have Max Crosby still, so it's going to be. I mean, they're probably. I would think they're going to have to ship him or something.
I think they got
somebody's. They're going to have to find a suitor.
I don't think they can keep him with everything they've added at this point. It's just like you're going to bubble up against the cap, and it's just not going to work.
There's a lot of things we were talking about. Kenneth Walker too for the Seahawks, and some different guys too. A lot of people at this point are just cap casualties, as we know. I mean, you've got your $300 million payroll, and you can only make so many moves. Very much like Tyler Algier, of course, signing with the Cardinals. Falcons knew they weren't going to be able to keep him and Bijan in the backfield together. So different moves like that you anticipate. I think some things come as a surprise. Nothing really surprises me much anymore, but I just thought that the Max Crosby, the whole deal there is just it's kind of wonky. So
I do wonder, like, how do you agree to a deal and not think that this guy's actually going to pass physical, especially a deal of that magnitude where it's contemplating 2 first-round picks.
It doesn't happen very often where a guy does go in and actually fail a physical. And I mean, it's got to be something that they feel like could be some sort of a career-ending type thing. Because I mean, if it's something where you got to go in and have shoulder surgery or whatever, okay, well, you might be on the shelf for a couple months, but you're not going to pass up on a player like Max Crosby for something like that.
Unless the Ravens got like wet feet and said, we got to figure out a way to back out of here.
Right. Right, maybe. Possibly. Maybe they realize with Hendrickson being on the table.
They say, hey, this is a better deal for us. We don't have to give up the picks.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it may very well be. There's a lot of moving and shaking that goes on behind the scenes with NFL GMs. Obviously, the Falcons have a new one in Ian Cunningham. Matt Ryan, of course, president of football. We talked about Tua a little bit this week. Obviously, when that news broke, Tua Tagovailoa, of course, headed to the Falcons to join the quarterback room where they're with Michael Penix. There's already a lot of jokes being made, and I think it's, if nothing else, and some folks have had time to sleep on it. There's some people, as they've slept on it, including my co-host yesterday, Billy D, who was like, when the news first broke about it, I was kind of like, what are we doing? But then the more I thought about it, it kind of made sense, especially from a financial standpoint. Where do you stand on the whole Tua thing?
I'm there. I think it's not a bad deal. You're not giving up much. Might as well bring him in. What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
So, like you said, he's a left-hand quarterback. He fits the system from what they're trying to do with Penix, even though I may disagree with bringing on Penix.
Right.
But it's not a bad play. He didn't cost you anything.
Right. Well, the Dolphins are still paying him, to your point.
Dolphins are still paying him.
Kind of like we're still paying Kirk Cousins. We got the $10 million or so, which will hopefully go off the books next year. But what about your Denver Broncos, though, man? What have they got going on out there?
They haven't done any good moves lately. I'm so disappointed. They may
not need to. They're pretty stacked as it is.
They need a running back, and they need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like J.K. Dobbins was their running back. He was good, but he got hurt, so he's injury prone. But they really need a wide receiver. Their wide receiver one is Cortland Sutton.
I was going to say,
good receiver, but he's not. He's big, but he's not fast.
Right.
So I was really hoping they make a splash for a really good receiver. Doesn't seem like that's happened yet.
Somebody that can take the top off, certainly. That's got some speed that can get downfield. To your point, Cortland Sutton's good, especially 50-50 balls, things like that. We're talking. To me, he's kind of a little bit similar to Drake London in some ways, who we were talking about yesterday. Like, is Drake London a top 10 receiver? I'm not sure that Drake has been put in a situation yet with a good enough quarterback situation where he's been able to prove himself as a top 10 receiver. I think the talent, I think the intangibles are there for him to become a top 10. I would say Cortland Sutton is also one of those guys that's kind of a fringe, receiver. Maybe top 20 guy, probably not a top 10 guy.
I would agree with that.
But maybe a fringe top 20 guy as well, but also is going to be in a situation now, hopefully with Bo Nix, as he continues to mature. And Bo showed a lot this year, obviously. I
think he surprised quite a few people.
I think so too. I'm not sure anybody thought coming out that he was great, started Auburn, went to Oregon and all that. And I think that coming out, people thought, well, this guy's got the potential to be pretty good. I think some people kind of saw him as like, more of a college quarterback, not so much a pro quarterback, but he definitely proved a lot of people wrong this year.
He did. Well, you think back about that draft class. Caleb Williams was in that class. Drake May's in that class.
Yeah.
Penix was in that class, right?
A couple 2 years.
Penix and J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
Both of them went ahead of Bo Nix, and I think if he redid it, Bo Nix has probably been picked up before both those guys.
Yeah, I think so, based on what we're seeing now. Now, I will say this. I think coaching has a lot to do to it with it. So, obviously, Sean Payton, who's very much hated in Atlanta for his time in New Orleans, you can say what you want about him. I'm not a fan of his necessarily personally, but if he, offered to come to Atlanta to coach the Falcons, I'd take him tomorrow, even though, I may not like the guy. But, he's just one of those coaches that's going to get the most out of his players, and I think a lot of Bo Nix's development has a lot to do with the fact that he's got Sean Payton as a head coach.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I agree. If you hate the guy until it's like, oh, you want to be my coach?
Right, yeah.
I love you, man. You're my friend.
I love you, man. Yeah. I love you. Let's go. Let's go, coach.
I felt the same way about Payton. And then he became the Broncos coach. And I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We hate him in New Orleans, Bounty Gate and all that stuff. He goes out there. But I've got another buddy of mine. He's actually a football coach. He's a college football coach, and he's always kind of been like a Broncos. It's like he grew up as a Saints fan. So he's a Saints fan at heart. He was born in, South Mississippi, which is basically Saints territory, Louisiana, Mississippi. But he's also had this fandom of the Denver Broncos since the days of when before the Falcons played them in that 98 Super Bowl that you were referencing earlier there. So, I have to hear it now. I have to hear Saints and Broncos from him all the time there. And but I'm a Packer fan too. The one thing I've learned, and people were joking about this, I said this on I call it Twitter. Some people, obviously
I think Twitter's still the colloquial term everybody uses.
Say Twitter. Yeah. But I mentioned this a long time ago. I said everybody knows that as a Falcons fan, you've got to have another team to root for. And I know that sounds bad because it sounds like but everybody was laughing about that. And I was like, I just thought that was known. I didn't think it was that funny. I just thought everybody as a Falcons fan knew, you had to have at least 2 or 3 other teams to cheer for. And so, for me, I've got relatives in Green Bay. I have my great uncle actually does all the popcorn and kettle corn for Lambeau Field. So I have direct ties to the Packers organization. My grandfather was a sports announcer for the Milwaukee Braves before they moved to, Atlanta in the mid 60s. So again, a lot of different ties to that area. So I can claim the Packers, because I have the personal connection there. My wife is a huge Buffalo Bills fan, as I was telling John Davis, of course, to play for the Bills. So again, I'm married into the Mafia. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to kind of support that a little bit there.
This is why you were so upset that the Broncos beat the Bills.
Yeah, I kind of let that. But here's the thing, man. I mean, I've been in broadcasting for over 30 years. I can look at things objectively, when I need to. And so that was one of those moments I was just like, man, I don't care if the roles are reversed or whatever. Hey, it's good to have an opinion about things, though, right? I mean, that's why you're so successful in the courtroom, man. You're able to come in there and you're able to convince people, right? And so you made some really good arguments about the whole playoff thing.
It was a great game. I'll say that.
Yeah,
it was a back and forth game, and I did feel for Josh Allen after that game, man. Even though I was happy the Broncos won,
right?
Gosh, that guy he can't get through the playoffs every single year. He thinks he's got it, and then something
happens. I think the Buffalo Bills are a team that is very much like they're kind of like the darling of the NFL. Like even if you weren't a Colts or a Broncos fan, when Peyton Manning was quarterback, people like Peyton Manning. Like you can't help but even if he went to Tennessee, even as a Georgia fan, you might have hated Tennessee, but Peyton Manning, he's just a hard guy to dislike, right? Because of his personality and everything. And I think that's kind of how the Buffalo Bills are in the NFL. Like even if you're not a Bills fan, even if you're a Patriots fan or a Dolphins fan, well, that might be going a little too far. But if you're a fan of another team outside of their division, I mean, you sit there and you kind of feel like, man, it's their turn, whether you like them or not. You feel like, and yet they just don't get their turn. They can't quite get over that hump. They're like the darlings of the NFL that just can't get it done. Everybody's like, man, we hate it so much for the Bills. We hate it for Josh Allen. But
you called it. I think I talked to you right after that game, and you said, I think they're going to get rid of Sean McDermott. And I was like, no way. He's a great coach. And sure enough, I was surprised.
Well, I think the thing about that is that I think that everybody thought that Brady would go somewhere else, that they would lose Brandon Beane, their GM, that they would all kind of go as a package deal. But they only got rid of McDermott. They kept their GM, and then they promoted Brady to their head coach. Right. So it was like one of those things where Buffalo fans were even like, well, wait a minute.
Why did we get rid of
McDermott if we didn't get rid of Brandon Beane? And so, again, there were a lot of things there going on with that organization. But, it's interesting. I mean, as we mentioned, the Atlanta Falcons a little closer to home, making a lot of moves, of course, in free agency as well. As we know, they brought in a couple receivers to try to boost the position there. I mean, obviously needed some help. Bringing back Olamide Zaccheaus from the Bears, of course, Jahan Dotson from the Eagles as well. Trying to boost a little bit. I still think they need to go out and probably get somebody else, and obviously a defensive line, particularly in the middle. Onyemata gone. There is some talk, some trade talk. The Eagles are willing to part ways with Jalen Carter.
I saw that, but I don't know. I mean, Jalen Carter is just a tremendous player, absolutely tremendous player. Back when he was playing for Georgia, just absolutely just wrecking ball. Yeah. So if they are willing to part with him, it may be a tremendous price to pay, and I don't know if the Falcons would be willing to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have the money to do that. That's the thing, and it makes you wonder. I mean, is there something there beyond the money? Because it seems like it would be obvious that Philly would want to keep a player like that.
That's a good point.
Well, there's some character issue. I mean, is there something else going on there, maybe chemistry-wise or whatever? I don't know.
I think he always had that following his background, especially when he was at Georgia. There's potential like, hey, is there character issues in the background? Maybe. Right. At the end of the day, all we can judge right now, at least, is his performance on the field. And his performance on the field is tremendous.
Right. Well, there were obviously some character issues with James Pierce Jr. of the Atlanta Falcons. And one of the things that had kind of come out during the whole draft process, and everybody was like, nah, we just kind of dismissed it, and there's nothing to that. And then sure enough, here we are. So, again, there's always stuff behind the scenes that we don't quite know about right on the surface, but we learn as we go. Hey, we're up against this second break. We'll take a timeout and come right back here here. It's a Winging It Wednesday right here on the Morning Rant. We are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, your official home for flag-to-flag coverage of NASCAR.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Time to hang it in the Louvre.
Oh, this looks nice.
Our favorite moments from the week in sports here on the Morning Rant.
All right, Dave Garner back with you right here. I'm here with Casey Geiger of Geiger Legal Group joining us right here live. Also a big sports fan, though, so he is my co-host here today. We appreciate you guys being with us. Casey, what was your favorite moment over this last several days here in the world of sports? Yeah.
All right, so I didn't really like or really appreciate hockey until I went to Colorado for law school and really fell in love with the sport. It is, to my opinion, one of the best live sports you can absolutely have.
Right.
So if you're familiar from paying attention to hockey this year, the Colorado Avalanche are sitting in first place, and they're having a tremendous season.
Yeah.
Right behind them is the Dallas Stars, and right behind them is Minnesota Wild. So top three teams in the league, all in the same division, which is never fun.
Wow. Yeah.
Colorado played the Dallas Stars, and that game went into a shootout, so overtime first and then into a shootout. And I watched with my oldest son. And so we were like just tense as can be watching the shootout. The Colorado scored last. They get the win. And it was just a really cool moment celebrating that with my kid. Go into the 2 days later, the game with Minnesota Wild. That game also goes into a shootout, and I'm watching it with my youngest son. And so we're sitting there just celebrating, jumping up and down. Just a fun little father-son bonding moment over a game of hockey.
You know, you and I both are kind of in that hockey world now. I was telling people my daughter's getting married this summer in Canada. She's marrying a native Nova Scotian who's a big hockey fan. He's a fan of the Ottawa Senators because, he's just up in that area. And obviously, they're not one of the premier teams typically in the league there, but it's kind of like their Atlanta Falcons of hockey, and if you're a Canadian there, but so they become big hockey fans, and they live up there, and so again, a lot of fun. But because of that, we've kind of become hockey fans, and so my son has become a big he loves Dallas Stars. He's a big Dallas Stars fan.
Dallas Stars are a good team,
and but I remember the old Colorado Avalanche teams of old with Van Beesbrook and net, and some of those guys. I mean, obviously, they've had a lot of good teams over the years, but they're killing it this year.
They are killing it. They were, I don't think they are anymore, but they were on pace to set the league record for most points scored in an entire hockey season.
Wow,
which was the Boston Bruins many years ago.
Yeah,
but hockey, it's got to eventually come back to Atlanta.
Well, I was just fixing to ask you, is Atlanta getting a hockey team?
I would hope so. I mean, they keep talking about plans. Maybe up in Forsyth, just above what's
county line up there, where the hospital is up there, the multi-purpose facility there,
or potentially taking over the North Point Mall area.
And I think that's the one that's emerged. I think you had kind of two major players there coming from this from the area. And I think one of them was the Forsyth County bid, of course, and then the other one was the North Point bid. And I don't know if both are still on the table or if they've narrowed it down to one, but, it's hard to turn down $1 billion if you're the NHL and you have any thoughts of expanding at all. I think what makes people gun shy, or particularly with the NHL, is the fact that we've had hockey here twice already. But I always remind people, look, man, were some different circumstances.
For sure.
I mean, the last time, we had the Thrashers, which, by the way, I would love for them to bring the whole look and feel of the Thrashers and the name and everything. I would be totally fine with that. But you had a dysfunctional ownership group, that had them. None of them got along, and they sold the team off. It wasn't because of lack of support. Back when the Flames were here, way back, you didn't have the melting pot, of the population that you have now to support it necessarily, and plus the teams generally weren't that good. But still, nonetheless, I think if Atlanta gets it a third time, I think we'll make it stick.
I think so too. I mean, Atlanta has become a transient city in that sense,
yes.
And you put it kind of take the Braves model. You build an infrastructure around it like they did with the Battery. Yeah. You have such an amazing atmosphere to go to, not only just for the game, but to hang out with your friends.
Oh yeah.
And then have the game as an added benefit.
Sure.
Now, if you could get an expanded team that is actually really good and competing, hey, it's a done deal. The entire town's going to fall in love with the team.
Yeah, I think so too. Hopefully Atlanta can make it happen. We'll have another franchise. If we name it after a bird, then we'll be right in line with everything else for the most part. Falcons, Hawks, and Thrasher. I know everybody always kind of makes fun of that and says, Atlanta sports are for the birds, so it would make total sense. But no, maybe they'll probably go in a whole different direction.
The whistle pigs or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. The sports pig. See, there we go. We have a lot of partnerships right here with the Sports Pig. We are your official home for the Atlanta Braves here in North Georgia. Of course, Brave spring training. We'll talk more about that on tomorrow's program with our insider, Will Cooper. Obviously, Braves in spring training. We also have a partnership with Atlanta United right now. We're giving away Atlanta United tickets. Again, they've got another home match this weekend and next Saturday, this Saturday and next Saturday as well. So we've got some tickets there. A lot of concerts coming up. And one of the things that we want to announce right here on the Morning Rant is that we're going to be promoting several shows this year at the Ameris Amphitheater. We've got an inside relationship there. So there are a lot of concerts that are going to be coming up. And between us and our sister station over on the dial at 101.1 FM, The Pulse, we're going to be promoting and giving away tickets to a lot of concerts this year and this summer. So again, you're going to want to stay tuned right here. Follow us on our social media. Again, the Sports Pig is on Facebook and also on Twitter. Some call it X, but I call it Twitter. And the Morning Rant on Instagram and on YouTube. You can catch us, catch episodes of the show. You don't have to listen live between 10 and 11. I know for some folks that have real jobs, that might be hard to swing sometimes to do that. But again, you can listen to this show a lot of different ways. You can listen to both stations a lot of different ways on the app and on the dial. And again, we appreciate you guys being with us right here on the program. Casey, let's talk a little bit about that. We talked about it earlier in the show. 83-point night for Bam Adebayo against the Wizards. Now, if any team was going to give up 83 points to anybody, it would be the Wizards and Trae Young, obviously with defense. But the Hawks are on a heater right now. I mean, what's your take on the NBA right now?
I still think anybody who's going to go against the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going to lose. I think they still have the premier path to win it all again, back to back. I mean, that team is just... they're really stacked. Yeah. I'm impressed with the Hawks. Even after they traded Trae, it seems like things have gone really well for them.
I'm not sure they've even lost. Have they even lost since they've traded Trae?
7 I don't know right now?
Something like that. I think so. Yeah, they may have lost one out of the gate, but and Trae was banged up for a little bit, so he didn't play. Got ejected in a Wizards game before he even suited up for a game. I think that was a record of some sort. But speaking of records, last night was a record-breaking performance for Bam Adebayo, the Miami Heat. 83 points, the second highest scoring total behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100 game. A lot of records being set by Bam. Free throws, free throw attempts. A lot of the 83 points, especially late in the ball game, came on the fact that the Wizards were trying to double team, triple team, and I think there was even one point where they tried to quadruple team him, but they kept fouling him and putting him to the line. So again, I think he had a 31-point first quarter. I think he had 43 by halftime, and then it just
spiraled off from there.
Continued right in the second half.
I wonder at a certain point, is the team feeding him the ball to be, hey, you're close to the record.
Yeah,
let's let you get fouled, get up to the free throw line.
And it's not like he's not a Michael Jordan. He's not a Kobe Bryant. He's not a shooting guard. He's an inside guy, right? I mean, he's a big guy. So, he plays primarily inside, on the wing. And so he did knock down, I think, 7 threes last night. So he did show some range. I mean, he did knock down a few from outside. But for the most part, man, just chipping away all night long inside on the glass and at the free throw line, making a living there. But man, to me, that came out of nowhere.
Certainly an incredible record. He's above Kobe now from that game.
Yeah.
So
he's above everybody pretty much except for Will. So, I mean, You know, you got Michael Jordan over there running NASCAR teams now, scratching his head going, man, how in the world did so Jordan going to want to come out of retirement so he can take that back? You know, he don't like his records being broken or anything at all. So, again, I appreciate you guys being with us right here on the Morning Rant, chopping it up on a Winging It Wednesday with my man Casey Geiger of Geiger Legal Group. Let's get to a couple jokes here real quick before we forget to do this, because you moonlighted over on our sister station this morning over on 101 The Pulse. You're a regular over there, but I want to feel some love right here on the Sports Pig, man. You know, you've got some good, one of the series that you guys have been doing online, and it's hilarious. And I would encourage anyone out there listening, go on Geiger. I mean, even if you don't need an attorney, I mean, take a look at these guys, man. They do business a different way. I mean, the genuine care that they have for their clients and also the involvement they have in their community, I think is what truly sets them apart by others that you might see slapped all over billboards or what have you. And I'm not throwing off on anybody else. But again, you guys do business a lot differently. But one of the things that I think is hilarious is just these jokes and things that you have. So you want to share a couple with us? Apparently they're a big hit. These they are terrible, man, dad jokes that we've got going on. I love it. All right, so give us the first one right here. So we got at least one. How many you got? How many you want to do? You want to do two? I'll do two. All right, let's do two, because we don't want to let the cat out of the bag right here too much, because we're going to kind of have a regular series of these things is what our plan is. So give us your top two this morning. My favorite one right now is a snake and a lawyer fall off the Empire State Building at the same time. Who lands first? A snake and an attorney fall off the Empire State Building at the same time. Who lands first? That's a good one. Who cares? I love it. I think that's how a lot of people feel, going back to our conversation earlier about the negative connotation that sometimes comes with attorneys and law. All right, so what's number two, man? Because the first one's going to be hard to beat. All right, so number two, what do you call 100 lawyers chained to the bottom of the ocean? 100. Okay, so 100 lawyers chained to the bottom of the ocean. All right. It's a good start. No, I have no idea. It's a good start. It's a good start. Oh my gosh. So we need 100 more down there with them, I guess, right? Golly. Oh, you know, the one thing I love about you, man, is and you and Jamie and everybody, you guys just lean right into it, man. You just lean into it. I mean, you don't mind making fun of yourself a little bit. It's the best type of humor. Yeah, it's the best type of humor. Yeah, I think that if you're taking yourself too seriously, people see through that. Yeah, we talk about it if you are trying a case. If you try to get up in front of a jury who's judging you, right, and be someone you're not, they're going to see right through it. You can't get up there and I can't act like Dave Gardner in front of the jury. I'm not going to be you. Right. Well, you wouldn't be very successful if that were the case anyway. You wouldn't win a lot of cases. I don't have your great radio voice, right? Well, it don't matter. You got that charisma, and you got those things that win cases, you know, and help people out. So you guys have had, and real quick too, not to get too much off on a tangent, but you guys have had a lot of success stories. I mean, the one that we heard about when you guys first came on board with us was the $15.2 million settlement, which was a case that was originally taken by another law firm that was encouraging their client to settle out of court for $250,000. Less than they want them to negotiate. Yeah, they want them to negotiate less than $250,000. And we ended up trying the case and got a $15.2 million verdict. Wow. That is on appeal right now, and so it's just working its way through the Court of Appeals. We've cross-appealed that, so actually it's going to go into the Supreme Court. I was actually with one of the Supreme Court justices last night. I can't really. There we go. I can't really prod her on that case. It's Justice Sarah Warren, who's a tremendous judge. Right. But she's got to hear the facts of it. So we just kind of got to hear the facts, man. Got to live with the facts. We can certainly appreciate that right here. Hey, we're up against our final break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little high school basketball. Again, several of our area high schools going at it down in Macon. We'll give you a little bit more information on that. We'll come back, wrap up with some final thoughts as we hit the final segment of today's Winging It Wednesday morning rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, where hot takes meet hot mics.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
And back right here on the program with you till 11 o'clock this morning, Dave Garner and Casey Geiger in studio with us here from Geiger Legal Group, chopping it up on a Winging It Wednesday. Big John Davis will be back next week with us right here on the program. And tomorrow, the rest of the week, I'll be joined by Will Cooper, who will have some Inside Braves information as we continue to chop up spring training and talk about the projected opening day lineup for the Atlanta Braves. Casey, you a big Braves fan by chance?
Yeah, we've got season tickets. Go.
Yeah, I was going to say, y'all got the hook up there for sure. What's your thoughts so far about the outlook this year for the Braves?
They're already getting hurt in spring training.
Yeah, I know.
It's
man.
I don't know, man. I was hoping for a better year this year, and it seems like the injury bug is back to bite him again.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, I mean, especially with the starting lineup, that's the biggest thing that concerns me, I guess, if you will. Obviously, the whole Profar deal, which we've talked about right here on this program, is kind of a bad thing there, a bad look. Certainly, he's suspended for 162, so you automatically lose one of the guys that you were kind of relying on, especially in that DH position and everything. So we're going to talk about that more over the next a couple weeks, of course, as we lead up to opening day on the 27th, and appreciate you guys being with us. Of course, some other things as well. I know we were talking a little bit about conference tourneys. March Madness, of course, a big thing coming up. And Miami of Ohio, there's this interesting scenario where they're saying that even if they go 31-0, there's a chance they won't make it in to March Madness because the conference does not get the automatic bid anymore, the MAC, I guess. But I'm like, how in the world?
That's insane. This is new to me. I didn't know this.
Yeah. I mean, they're undefeated. Okay, they're still on. Miami of Ohio is undefeated going into the final week, basically, with Selection Sunday looming, and yet there are reports now. Most people think they'll make it in. I hope they make it in. I think they will. Even if they make it in, they're probably an 11 seed is where they're projected. But I don't care how small or how big you are. I mean, if you're 31-0. I think you deserve to be in the dance.
You absolutely deserve to be in the dance.
So, I mean, and this might be something that writers are writing about or whatever, but apparently there is a chance that they could very well miss the tournament. I think the Dogs are in, though. Back to Georgia basketball, and we are your home, of course, for UGA men's basketball right here on the Sports Pig. We've had all the games for you throughout the season. I think Georgia at this point has done enough, regardless of what happens starting today in the SEC tournament. But hopefully they can still get in the tournament and win a couple games, if nothing else.
I think I saw an article that almost a guaranteed lock at this point. They've played well this year. They've played really well this year to turn it around. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably be in. Yeah. And then hopefully you can get a couple games win. Hopefully win a few.
Hopefully. That'd be nice. Meanwhile, high school basketball today through Saturday down in Macon. Yes, it's that time of year again, and we've got several local area teams that will be down for the state championships. And again, I want to encourage folks on Friday over on our sister station over on 101.1 FM The Pulse, we are going to have live coverage of the 5A girls state championship game between the Creekview Lady Grizzlies and the Milton Lady Eagles, two schools that are separated by, I don't know what, less than 10 miles probably, 15 miles maybe at the most. Again, they're going to go at it, and we are going to have our live coverage starting at 5:15, tip-off at 5:30 from Macon on Friday afternoon. And then on Saturday, we'll wake up and do it all over again as the Murray County girls, the Lady Indians, play for the 2A bracket state championship against Hardaway in a true rematch of last year's state championship. Hardaway out of Columbus won that one. So Murray County, the Lady Indians, looking for a true redemption story on Saturday morning. That tip-off at 11 a.m., our live coverage at 10:45, again, over on our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse. We hope you'll join us for that. Casey, I know you guys have offices really spread out all over the place, but you've got, of course, one in Canton, Woodstock, Dalton. You guys are everywhere, and I know you're kind of a native of Cherokee County, so it's got to be pretty exciting. We have River Ridge, Creekview, and Sequoia all basically in the final for the quarterfinals, if you will, of the girls' bracket.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to see, and it's good to see that, especially in this Cherokee County area where I grew up, that the local sports teams are doing so well.
Yeah,
it seems like every single year they're getting better and better.
You guys are your location, by the way, in Canton is right across the street, literally, from the new Cherokee High School, which I know is where you graduated from the old high school. I guess we can say the old high school now, I guess, technically. After this year, I guess we can anyway. But, man, that place looks like a palace.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've heard, I haven't seen it, but I've heard just the locker rooms and all the sports facilities there are like smaller level collegiate nice. Like just incredible facility. So I'm envious of the kids to get to go through the sports programs there now.
Right. You know, and it's one of those things where we were joking around earlier in the week. Like, had we had a big giant jumbotron with a big sound system when we were back in our playing days, I think we would have played just a little bit better.
For sure. Right.
I mean, just the whole atmosphere. I mean, we had good crowds. Now, granted, football was, big deal, this, that, and the other. But, I mean, you think about today's atmosphere and you think about what's going on. And we talk about Creekview, obviously, and their big board. I know Pickens High has the big board now. And all these schools are just getting more elaborate in their game day experience. But, man, I love it. I love it. I think it's awesome.
I think the new Cherokee is supposed to have 2 or 3 gyms or something.
Yeah.
And, back in our day, it was like you may get a gym. You get like half a gym.
You might get half a gym.
You might get half a gym.
Maybe just half. And we'll act like we have the other half. Well, there's a lot of dirt being moved over at Sequoia High School as well. They're adding, speaking of, an auxiliary gym and a new field house and a new press box for the football stadium. And so, there's a lot of the other schools that now they see this new Cherokee High School and all the other schools are going to be like, well, hey, what about us now? We've been here a while. We can still use some upgrades. So, again, kudos, though, to the Cherokee County school system and really all of our schools. But we are looking forward to an excellent weekend of high school basketball on Friday and Saturday, particularly down in Macon. As we said today, 3A is part of the bracket today. That'll be playing out. And one of the things that the Georgia High Schools Association has added to their credit, a dunk contest on Saturday.
No way.
3-point shooting competitions each day throughout the week in between the different classifications of state championships. And so they're trying to, speaking of the game day experience, they're trying to improve theirs as well inside the Macon Coliseum.
So I was a wrestler growing up in high school. And
yes.
I remember going down.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember going down to the Macon Coliseum for the state championship. And that's just a older facility, really fun facility to be in, actually.
Right.
And I get why they do it down in Macon. It's central for everybody so you can get. But, it's a cool spot. And so I'm glad they're trying to increase the game day experience for everybody.
If you've never been, folks, I'm just telling you, if you've never been, and I've covered a lot of them over the years, if you've never been to the state wrestling championships.
That's a good time.
I mean, man, that's intense. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun. I love high school wrestling. Even pro wrestling. We've got a lot of friends here of pro wrestling at the radio station, so we occasionally will talk WWE and stuff like that here on the morning rant on the Sports Pig, but. Real wrestling, if you will.
Pro wrestling,
it's scripted, if nothing else. But high school wrestling is intense, man. It's so fun when you get that many mats under one roof, and you got all the different matches going at once, and the crowd's cheering and yelling and screaming, and you got the parents and they're hugging, and I mean, it's really intense. It's a lot of fun. Macon, of course, playing host to a lot of the high school, not only the basketball but the wrestling as well. And there used to be a hockey team in Macon that used to play there as well, called the Macon Whoopie.
I did not know this.
Yes,
you're educating me here.
Yeah, the Macon Whoopie. So again, it's kind of like now we have the Savannah Bananas, and so a lot of different, fun things. But yeah, the Macon Coliseum's been around for a long time. I always joke around. It always seems a little, outdated. It kind of looks like a giant Waffle House. It's got brown, grids everywhere and this, that, and the other and everything. But it's still a great venue. And it's actually been a while since I've been down there, so looking forward to it. But yeah, always a great venue for that. Hey, before we wrap up here today, final thoughts, Casey, on Team USA, man. Hopefully we've got another chance to play.
I guess we'll find out.
Man, I mean, my goodness, losing to Italy yesterday was kind of a gut punch.
Well, again, and I think I said this earlier, it still baffles me that the coach doesn't seem like he knew
Right.
They needed to win that game.
I think there was some confusion. Yeah, because you and I were talking, and you brought this point up, which I didn't even know, but apparently the coach had thought that we were in the quarterfinals automatically or something.
Because he said, we really wanted to win that game. It's important for us to win all the games, but we're already in the quarterfinals. And people are like, sir, you're not.
Yeah.
You don't understand the rules here.
Right, yeah. You're still in pool play, and technically there's still some tiebreakers on the table that have to pan out now that you've lost. So maybe a little bit of an assumption gone bad on the part of Team USA there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully it doesn't bite them in the butt.
Yeah, exactly. And real quick before we get out of here, we're about out of time, but remind folks once again about your bracket challenge, the Geiger Legal Group Bracket Challenge.
Again, it's free to sign up. Look us up, geiger-legal.com. Follow us on social media. It's probably the best way to get access to the bracket. Geiger, just look Geiger Legal, Geiger.
Yep.
But the bracket challenge is something we've wanted to do for some time. As a hook to get people signed up. It's free to sign up if you win. So fill out the bracket correctly. The points are calculated by the ESPN scoring system.
Right.
So every time you advance further, if you get the Final Four, you're going to get the most amount of points.
Yeah.
If you win the bracket, we'll give you $1,000. More importantly than that, you get to pick from a list of charities that we will donate $10,000 to that charity too. So not only do you get to benefit from winning, but you get to do some real good in the community.
Yeah, and it's free to play.
And it's free to play.
Yeah.
Free to play.
Again, as we've talked about really throughout everything, there's really no strings attached. Just go on, sign up. This is something that Geiger Legal is doing in the community to benefit the community. Again, they're not keeping any funds or anything. Like I said, it's free to play. So again, donating $10,000 to a charity of your choice, also pocketing $1,000, and you don't even have to pay anything to play. That's a win-win.
Why would you not sign up?
Exactly. So go on to Geiger Legal, their social media, click the links, and get registered to play the March Madness Bracket Challenge. Casey, appreciate you being here today, partner. We've had a lot of fun.
Before we sign off, who are you going to pick to win it all?
Oh, man.
'Cause I got to copy your bracket now.
You put me on the spot here. I've actually gotten it right a couple times in the former ESPN bracket. So, man, you know what? I don't know if I don't know if I'm prepared to make a pick yet.
Fair enough.
I'd love to see Miami of Ohio go all the way at this point.
Are you going to do a bracket reveal on one of your shows?
We'll do it. Yeah, we will. We'll do that. How about that? Let's partner up. We'll do that. I will do a bracket reveal. I will reveal my bracket. We'll go round for round, and we'll do that. But I might need a few days to look at it because I gotta see how the conference tournaments are gonna play out first.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There are definitely some teams that I like, certainly, but I'm going to let it play out. I'll get back with you on that one.
Okay. All right.
Sounds
good.
Hold you to it. Hold me to it right here. Casey, thanks for being with us, man.
Good. Thanks for having me.
I've enjoyed it right here. This has been the Morning Rant right here on your home for ESPN Radio in North Georgia. Thank you guys so much for being with us right here on a Wednesday afternoon, a Winging It Wednesday on the Morning Rant. And as always, we appreciate you guys being with us. We end off every show by saying, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, your official home for Georgia Bulldogs basketball.